Right behind President Joe Biden, when he sits by the fireplace in the Oval Office, stands a bust of the late Robert F. Kennedy. And for months, Kennedy's son has been similarly casting a shadow over Biden's re-election campaign. So why did a pro-Trump super PAC see fit to create a new website slamming the independent candidate called Radical Effing Kennedy? Until recently, the conventional wisdom has been that Bobby could siphon votes that would otherwise go to Joe Biden and tip the election to Donald Trump. But what a difference a week makes in politics. The Kennedy football has been bouncing in a different direction, an apt metaphor given the famous pigskin matches at the family compound in Hyannisport. On April 18, President Biden came to Philadelphia for a campaign event designed to publicly display the divide within one of America's most storied political families. The president was surrounded by 15 Kennedy family members, including 6 of RFK Jr.'s 10 siblings, who were there to endorse Biden and not their brother. This was just the latest family expression of opposition to Bobby. Days before he first announced his candidacy as a Democrat in April of last year, several prominent family members announced they were endorsing Biden. One of his sisters, Carrie Kennedy, president of the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Foundation, released a statement. She said, "I love my brother Bobby, but I do not share or endorse his opinions on many issues, including the COVID pandemic, vaccinations, the role of social media platforms in policing false information. It is also important to note that Bobby's views are not reflected in or influence the mission or work of our organization." Then, last October, when RFK Jr. announced that he would run as an independent, Kerry tweeted a statement co-signed by siblings Rory, Joe II, and Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, calling the move, quote, perilous for America. Bobby might share the same name as our father, but he does not share the same values, vision, or judgment. Today's announcement is deeply saddening for us. We denounce his candidacy and believe it to be perilous for our country. The rift was front and center, just as RFK Jr. gained ballot access in the critical state of Michigan under the banner of the Natural Law Party. Biden has been reveling in the family's endorsement. Writing in the Washington Post, Tyler Pager observed that President Biden grew up admiring the Kennedys and that the Bidens saw the Kennedys, as wealthy, attractive Irish Catholics, as, quote, the embodiment of the American dream. Consequently, when the family recently united around Biden, the president labeled it one of the best days of his campaign. And the event with the president was not the extent of this alliance. As The Hill noted, from rallying Kennedy's family around President Biden to dumping opposition research and holding press briefings about how he helps former President Trump, Democrats watching Kennedy qualify for more state ballots are pulling out all the stops to prevent him from hurting Biden in the fall. The DNC has been aggressively battling Kennedy's campaign, including paying for a billboard truck to circle his campaign events. And the DNC has hired Liz Smith, a Democratic operative, to run an aggressive communications effort to oppose third-party candidates through opposition research and legal challenge. Quote, underscoring how important Democrats view the effort, it is being overseen by Mary Beth Cahill and Ramsey Reed, 2 veteran DNC insiders who have already started issuing rare public statements rebuking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Trump has also been critical of RFK Jr., but until the launch of the aforementioned website, it seemed kind of half-hearted, as if he were doing just enough to give the appearance of opposing Kennedy without too much concentration. But overnight, Trump suddenly went scorched earth on Truth Social, calling RFK a Democrat, a plant, a radical left liberal who's been put in place in order to help crooked Joe Biden, and adding, shockingly, I'd even take Biden over Jr. So why this sudden attention from Trump? Because according to 3 new national polls, the election threat RFK Jr. poses may now be hurting Trump more. Head-to-head, Quinnipiac has Biden and Trump tied at 46. When RFK and the other third-party candidates are added to the choices, it's still tied 37-37. But when RFK voters are forced to choose, they break for Trump, 47-29. In NBC's poll, head-to-head, Trump leads Biden 46-44. But add the third-party candidates, RFK Jr. receives 13%, and now Biden leads Trump by 2. Marist had similar findings about the third-party factor head-to-head. It has Biden up over Trump 51-48, but adding the third-party candidates, Biden's lead increases to 5 points, which is larger than the poll's 3.6-point margin of error. Less than a week after the Kennedy family embraced Biden to the detriment of their relative, it was the Republicans left wondering how to discredit Bobby. As Politico reported, Kennedy was introduced, supported, and certainly propped up by the right, thinking he would be a torpedo to Biden in a primary. But that torpedo may be turning into a bit of a boomerang. Or to go back to the football analogy, the bouncing Kennedy political football has suddenly landed in the other team's possession. Still to come, more of your best and worst social media comments, and don't forget to vote on today's poll question at Smerconish.com. Should universities permit protesting students to sleep in tents on school property? While you're there, please sign up for the free and worthy daily newsletter for which Jack Oman, the Pulitzer Prize winner, sketched this cartoon. All right, there's the vote so far on today's, wow, pretty decisive, huh? With a lot of voting. Should universities permit students to sleep in tents on school property? 86% have the correct answer. No, they should not. Social media reaction, Catherine, what do we have from today's program? Limited on time, but here we go. They want us to repay their student loans so that they can behave like this, says Stan Inman. Hey, I want them to speak their minds. But take down the tents and don't interrupt everybody else's ability to get to class, have class, and graduate. What else came in this hour on the program? What do we have? Independents may agree that the legal system is piling on Trump, but big picture cannot risk a Trump second act in the White House. I'm just saying, Stuart Stevens wrote a hell of a piece for the New York Times yesterday, the day before, explaining from a strategic, political strategic standpoint why it's to Trump's benefit to be locked in that courtroom, not out on the campaign trail, and the effectiveness that he's having with some in the microphone every day. Real quick, one more, I think I can squeeze it in. It'll have to be lightning fast. Law-abiding immigrants fill out an application to become a citizen. You're downplaying these border-jumping illegals is sick. Really? I'm sick? I gave you the data that says, holy smokes, in contradiction of so many of the news reports, they're actually less incarcerated than those of us who are born here. I got it done. I'll see you.